for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sippin' pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it if news anchors informant to informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this report. It ships important gifts, of course it is. What extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
In a world where little gammas won't keep my name out of their mouth, so now I have to empty the clip on them. All right, so hey Max, bro, I know you like to watch my streams while you claim that simultaneously I'm stupid and a heretic and a CIA operative because you're an actual psychopath. But I think that you may be watching a little bit too much porn, Maxie boy, because you're acting like a gamma, bro. Hey, you're acting like a gamma male. I'm going to need you to stop watching all the porn, and I'm going to need you to stop eating so much pork. I can tell that you're really offended that we choose to follow the scriptures and not eat pork, and you really like your bacon. You really like throwing away the instructions because you know more than the creator. But now you have to be exposed. And so I'm going to give you guys the background to this. You know, normally I don't take the bait, but I feel led to expose this guy. So this guy, he emailed me an unlisted video on YouTube a while back, basically like responding or critiquing some of the things that I say and his opinion of it, but it appeared to try to be cordial at least. And so I did a stream because I don't have to do unlisted videos in private on the emails. I just went live immediately on my phone and I responded to the inaccurate interpretations and accusations of his little unlisted gamma video. And I was like, yeah, I'm not saying I don't tell people or teach or preach a work-based salvation. I consistently say your works can't earn your salvation, right? We're given, dude, it's on my hat, bro, product of grace, right? Like we're saved by grace. We don't earn it via works. And actually our works are like filthy rags to the creator, but faith without works is dead and you will know them by their fruits. So anyway, I'm just going to watch some of this video. This dude has forced me to expose him. Listen to how psychopathic his take is on who I am, what I'm doing. He's put it all together. Apparently, I'm like some Masonic CIA operative. I have a handler now, and this guy's a lunatic. And hey, dude, if you want to jump on and debate me live, I would love to do that, but you probably won't do that. But anyway, here we go. We're just going to go ahead and start watching this so you can understand why I had to do an early stream even though I'm busy and I'm moving and stuff today because this guy just couldn't keep his mouth shut after I ignored him numerous times and ignored you spamming my emails after being cordial enough to respond, even gave you my phone number, right? You didn't call me, of course, did you? No, you just kept making videos, and then I wake up, Chris shows me someone made a hit piece on you. I'm like, well, what's new, you know? And come to find out, it's a fellow flat earther, and his entire channel is videos of me now, like the last like 8 videos he has. So we're gonna watch it, and then we're gonna talk about how incredibly deluded this guy is, because this not only is it about this guy, because I could care less about this guy who has 162 views. Actually, I'll show you guys this videos. Okay, so he's got video about me, 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 about me. Now, if you combine all of these views up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. It's less than one of my streams. I'm not doing this because of this guy's channel or anything like that. I'm doing this because of the message that he's saying, and because whenever people keep running their mouth about me, they need to be exposed. So here we go. Let's watch it.
Results back, so we're back. Oh man, oh man, oh man. More Hebrew rooting. We're rooting for Hebrew. No, not really. The stuff will lead you straight to hell.
Wow.
Which probably doesn't exist, according to these guys.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and clarify here. What is Hebrew roots? What's up with this little like term, like this label that you gave us? Who adheres to some label that you gave us? No, we're just following the scriptures and we're doing the will of the Father. Hebrew roots is this little stupid label you've given people that are actually trying to get back to the Torah, so you can hand wave dismiss them, just like Globers like to use the word flat earther a lot, because it gives them some justification to hand wave dismiss, because you cannot respond with any substantive specificity. According to this guy, I talk fast because I'm trying to brainwash you and sell you something like a car salesman. No, I just speak fast. Keep up. We're going to show that this guy actually can't keep up. The fact he had the audacity to make these videos is still pretty baffling. But anyway, let's just get into it.
Guys, because they just said on here, on their stream from today, that, you know, Satan doesn't exist, Lucifer doesn't exist, and that's interesting.
Okay,
we'll let them talk about.
Let's cover it. So Satan means opposition in Hebrew. Lucifer is not a Hebrew word. Lucifer is light bearer. Yeah, the elite, quote unquote, they think they have a collective consciousness of intellect and reason. Let me actually come over here just to lay this out for you, Max. Okay. Jack and I don't agree on everything, right? Like, I actually also think that the Book of Enoch was removed, and I actually adhere to it. I think that there were, in fact, metaphysical entities that have deceived many people in the world. And in fact, we're given the name Gadriel. And so I think that is still a strong possibility. I'm working through it, learning and praying for discernment, not pretending I know everything because I went to a church that gets together on Sunday and is tax exempt, because you can regurgitate the doctrine of men and Methodists and Baptists, which are the same thing. And they're all just breakoffs of the Catholic Church. I'm actually looking through it. So Satan means opposition. Yehovah actually refers to himself as Satan at one point. So how does that work? It's this little bad guy with a pitchfork. How's the little bad guy Satan going around, and then Yehovah is Satan when he refers to himself as? No, it's in opposition. I will now be your opposition. That's why he calls himself Satan. And then we have numerous times where it says the Satan, the Satan. He turns to one of the disciples, the disciples, get behind me, Satan, right? Because he was now opposition. He was in opposition to the will of the Father. He had to carry out the will. He didn't literally turn into some bad guy named Satan. Now, is there something to like metaphysical entities in this Luciferian doctrine? I think so, yes. I think that the power of manifestation is very strong. And I think that there were some things that there were, let's say, angels that were created that were in a more metaphysical state than we were. This is my take. So the fact that you don't just know anything about my actual take and just assume that, like, because I am transparent enough to have Jack on there where we talk about these polarizing subjects live with nothing to hide, somehow gives you the right to make videos. So anyway, that's what the actual context is. So when he says stupid things like, oh, Satan and Lucifer don't exist, like, no, Satan does exist, but Satan is just opposition. Yeah, opposition to the Father exists. And he refers to himself as Satan. You'll never hear him ever respond to that. He refers to himself as Satan. Why don't you respond to that? How is this Satan some bad guy, but Yehovah refers to himself as Satan, as in he's in opposition to us. He was in opposition to Israel. I'll be your opposition. What's up with that? He will never respond to that. So anyway, back to it. I just want to get that as a preface out of the way. I should have maybe done it before I even share the screen, but that's what the actual stance is. Now let's watch this guy just go full paranoid psychopath.
Some things here, but first I want to point out why this is kind of a big deal, because this little Austin Witsit heretic here, I think, is maybe a bit of maybe got a little controlled opposition going, maybe got some maybe got a little CIA money or something in there.
Dude, this guy just said that I get money from the CIA guys. Like, just think about this. Think about the wavelength. Which waves don't have links. They're not things. They're just transverse movement in a medium. Just imagine how far off this guy is. If you've been watching my streams, you know that there's nothing further from the truth. But let's just continue.
Because between him and Nathan Thompson, very strange things. Particularly a guy with less than 6,000 subs has 1,000 views on a live stream that I wasn't even notified until 2 minutes after it ended.
Because I'm shadow banned. So his argument is the CIA. I'm a CIA operative. They're propping me up, but you weren't even notified about my stream till it was over. It's because I'm shadow banned. Yeah, I have like 1,000 views on my videos because I have people that watch my streams every single time. What a loser. I'm sorry that you're like upset that people don't watch your videos. That's weird to me, bro. Like, I'm super censored. I have a really small channel. Anyway.
Ended. Okay. Already 1,000 views on it. He's only been on YouTube for like a year and really doesn't do too much. It's
except live streams constantly for hours at a time that you could never do.
Very strange. YouTube is just pumping them, pumping them. We love the Hebrew roots. Or something. Had some pretty suspicious things go on with Nathan Thompson on their little tour across America, whatever they were doing. And so now, after the midst of their tour that broke down for whatever, was going on, now all of a sudden, Witsit's out here and he's no longer talking flat earth. We're going to talk about Hebrew roots. And it's like he's been studying Hebrew roots, man. It's like he's been studying it all his life or something.
No talking about the earth, even though I literally just did a flat earth debate the other day. I have like 3 more lined up. I get on Discord on 2 different flat earth servers daily, literally one of them debating like 10 to 15 people at a time, being muted just to get the truth out there. I'm like constantly trying to get the truth out there in real life to people about the earth. I literally never stopped talking about the earth. I was just now interrupting a phone call with my boy Chris to one of the people that he knows in real life, trying to break through to them about the nature of the earth. I'm constantly talking about the nature of the earth. I sold all my possessions to go do so, but anyway, let's continue.
Never mentioned it really before. So let's see what these guys are talking about and why it's so dangerous, and why you should steer clear of this and call them out for their garbage, because they will take questions. I'm sure I'm already blocked on here.
You're already blocked? Why would we block you? I encourage you to come get exposed live time. We don't block people unless they're spamming troll comments and trying to take away from the substantive reality of the stream, the actual point, the subject. That's the only time that anyone gets blocked. So what are you talking about? You have this inflated feeling of self-importance. They're holding my channel down. They're propping Austin's up. Dude, I get death threats and they're about to terminate my channel. And I've gotten like more than almost 2,000 subs in one night, but my sub count never changed. I always top out at a certain amount of views and never lets it get over like 2,000 or 2,500 no matter what. So what are you talking about, bro? My only video that's ever gotten over like 2,500 views was the video where Simon Den did a hit piece on me and then trolls flooded my channel. So you have this like self-inflated feeling of importance here that's really blinding you. But more so, it's actually the zealotry you possess within the doctrine of men that you hold to, because you cannot in any way humble yourself to re-examine. But let's continue. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted here.
They won't even notify me, like I said. YouTube doesn't notify me until after the stream ends. But there's already 1,000 people that have viewed it by the time that I click on it.
Yeah.
Strange, very strange. Well, let's see what these say. This Just Jack Flat Earth, probably a CIA handler, right? Okay, throwing it out there. No idea,
dude. You're a lunatic, bro. You're a psycho, man. Like, I was just chilling at Jack's house. He's the furthest thing from a CIA. He's such a terrible CIA operative, then, bro. Because literally, I just push back on anything I don't agree with that he says, and we immediately both go to the Hebrew and we try to figure it out. Wow, what a good CIA operative. He tells me to never conform to the world, to stand up to the system, even if that means I'm going to be decapitated. And we stand and speak the truth, even though Christianity and churchianity wants to come and get us, even though flat earthers are marginalized. I have to speak the truth about the nature of the earth. And I need to also speak the truth about the nature of the scriptures. Oh, man, what a CIA operative. You know, the CIA, that works for the beast system, they really want you to dig into the Hebrew of the scriptures. You really thought this one out.
But where did this guy come from? Never heard of him before. Let's see what he has to say. Because people are rejecting this idea that Satan doesn't exist. And I'll listen to how they're going to gloss over that one in the old Hebrew root camp. And be very careful with these guys. It's a cult.
And once again, we'll gloss over it as he self-projects that he glosses over it because Satan means opposition in Hebrew, and Yehovah, the creator himself, refers to himself as Satan in the scriptures. Respond to it, Max, but you can't.
It's a cult. We got to talk very, very fast. Like we're selling a car. You got to love this car, man.
Yeah, I speak fast. I'm sorry that I'm not remedial like you, man. Keep up. Slow me down or something, man. But at least if you can actually comprehend what I'm saying, then maybe you'll respond with specificity that's actually relevant.
Rims, I'll give you $2,000 off. I'll give you $4,000 off. We just changed the windshield on there. We just changed the oil. She's ready to go. I'll even pump up the tires for you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We got to sell it. We got to sell it. We got to sell it. Hebrew root grifters, cult leaders, wicked.
I'm such a cult leader that I tell all you guys, don't believe anything that I say just on what I say. Go research for it. Go fast and pray for discernment. Go read the actual ancient languages. Go figure out what the context is actually saying. Don't trust men. Break away from the doctrine of men. Make sure that you think about this yourself in prayer led by the Spirit. Don't just listen to what we're saying. I'm just being transparent in my growth to show you where I'm at or what I found out. Wow, what a cult leading where we invite opposing ideologies so that we can let iron sharpen iron. Yeah, that's the opposite of a cult, my man. Yeah, we're brainwashing you to think for yourself.
Wolves. Let's see what they got to say.
Yeah. So they're getting higher, just like when we were in the mountain. There's a totally different vibration. There's like a spiritual vibration that's different, just higher. I can only imagine being higher and closer to the center. There's something there to that, and we've just been lied to about the nature of the earth, probably to hide high with David.
So I want to get in here because I'm being called a heretic and a blah, 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 and I'm here to deceive you and everything else like that. Austin, if anything I said doesn't line up with scripture, throw it away, man. You know as well as I do that I don't just tell you things. I show you in scripture. I don't just make up my own stories. Look, guys, if you think that you can't be deceived, if you still believe Sunday is the holy day and Christmas and Easter are about your Savior and all this other stuff, then go back to church. This is not for you.
That's a straw man, and actual people who know Christianity know that those are made up holidays.
Wrong. A huge percentage of people that are quote unquote Christians in the modern church still think that they should actually adhere to Easter and to Christmas. And what they'll say is, well, it doesn't matter. Just the sentiment behind it. I bet you still keep a little Christmas tree in your house, don't you, Max? I bet you're still obsessed with that Nimrod male anatomy representation that you put gold and silver on like the pagans, even though we're told specifically not to do that, huh? I think you're a little offended by the fact that your tradition of men are actually antithetical to the scriptures, and we're calling out the truth. And so you've got to find some type of way to sugarcoat it so you can feel more comfortable about it. But yeah, everything that they replaced the Moadim, the appointments with, were pagan holidays to distract you from the actual appointments. And you know what they are? They're appointments where the Father of all creation wants to come and meet with you at an appointed time. So they hid those with pagan holidays. And yes, the modern church still, the biggest attendance in churches is Christmas and Easter. Still to this day, seems like you're a little lost. Everyone that knows Christianity knows you aren't real, except for every single church in the United States that's packed full on both of these days.
That's called a straw man.
No, it's not.
So because Christmas and Easter have been set up by the Roman Catholics, we should disregard the New Testament and what the Bible says.
Now that's called a straw man. Yeah, think about how incompetent this guy is. Let's just bring it back. He accuses me of a straw man via self-projection because his subconscious knows he's actually about to straw man me, because he knows for a fact that he's grasping at straws to even try to rebut anything that we're saying, and he has to pause us and chop us up because we give context immediately.
Christmas and Easter have been set up by the Roman Catholics. We should disregard the New Testament and what the Bible says. In particular, if you want to say that Satan doesn't exist, but you want to go back to the Torah, I'm pretty sure the book of Genesis is in the Torah.
Go sit in your pews, go listen to your pastor. They'll tell you what the Bible says. Don't read it for yourself. Just trust the authority. They'll always give you what's right for you.
Mm-hmm. And then who's the authority now? Listening to these guys.
Wrong. It's actually the scriptures. MaxiPad, bro. I need you to take your crayon out and write this down, okay? we're not telling people to just blind believe what we say. We're having open, transparent conversations as we grow through knowledge of the scriptures, and we ask people to pray for wisdom and discernment. And in fact, I strongly encourage everyone, especially you, to fast and to pray for wisdom and discernment, not to just believe us, not to just turn us to us for the answers. I'm also transparent about the fact I'm just now getting into trying to learn Hebrew, and I'm telling you what I find out as I find it out. So no, don't just turn to two people with a little bitty YouTube channel. Turn to the Father of all creation, right? Through the intercessor Yeshua, who's our bridgeway to him, so that you can learn and grow and then apply convictions or apply discipline to your convictions as he reveals them to you. Try again. Yeah, Satan means adversary in Hebrew as well. No, it literally means opposition, and then in Greek it says adversary. Adversary having this underlying idea of a personification. In Hebrew it says opposition. Why did Jehovah say that he was opposition? Why did he call himself Satan? Why did the Creator call himself Satan in the scriptures? He didn't call himself Satan, some bad guy that runs around. He was now in opposition. So once he absorbed the position of opposition, he was Satan. You can be Satan. You can be in opposition to the will of the Father. It's being reiterative, but some people just are going to cling on to the churchianity till death. But it is what it is. I need to check out a different Witsit stream. You should listen, man. This isn't for everybody. And a lot of people can't handle the fact that we've been lied to about the scriptures in depth. But I've been checking the Hebrew concordance for 40 years. I never came to the same conclusions. Wrong. Well, okay. When you look at the concordance and you trace it back to Hebrew, even the Babylonian cuneiform, and then the ancient Paleo, and you see all these different, from this Hebrew to this Hebrew, this to Latin to Greek and to English, you start to see all this loss of translation. And if you don't track it back, and you just look at the KJV or a concordance within that, trying to tell us that you know what the ancient Hebrew said, and you didn't look into all context available, right? So you have to. Hebrew words don't always mean the same thing. You need to know the context. So you need to read the context to apply the Hebrew word. And they made their own interpretive translations throughout all these different changes of languages. And the concordance is not right. Oftentimes it jumps to the conclusion that is actually in contention.
Christianity
just tell us the answers, man.
I just did, you remedial clown show. Look, I'm going to come back over here for you guys real fast. Okay, so you see how he didn't respond to anything with substance specificity. He looks just like a glober. Oh, it must be word salad because you can't respond. You can't, because I just refuted your whole point. Yehovah, the creator, refers to himself as Satan. He didn't respond to that. And then what I said was, whenever you have like 4 different languages, so you have like 4 or 5 removed languages from the original script, right? So you have Paleo, you have ancient Hebrew, Paleo, then you have Babylonian cuneiform Hebrew, then you got Latin and Greek and English, and then the differences in English, if you actually sit back and you read them, they're not all the same. They can't all be true. They say contradictory things. We have to get to the actual origin of the words, that not one jot or tittle of the actual original Hebrew Torah will ever be changed, okay? But when you get to English, well, how can you say that then? Because you say my King James Version's wrong, because that's not the original Torah now, is it? No, it's an English version. So you go through all these different language changes, and you lose all kinds of translations, and you have to know the context. Let me slow it down for you, Max. You have to know the context of Hebrew words, because one word means numerous different things in Hebrew. So you have to understand the context. Well, whenever you go through all these different translations of languages, what they do is impose their interpretation onto the context, not allowing the viewer to actually see the potential context avenues, but to decide for us. So they have made up different interpretations and doctrines of men based on potential context of Hebrew words, and we're going to fact check them because they lied about the scriptures. You can't even respond to the fact that Yehovah refers to himself as Satan, and you're going to argue that you know he's a bad guy. So Yehovah is a bad guy with the pitchfork? It seems like you have a contradictory worldview here, my man, and you will not respond to it. But you actually have an edited video watching a live stream of mine, and you still didn't respond to it. And his response was just like, oh, tell us the answers. Like, because I talk kind of fast. I'm sorry that I speak fast. That doesn't in any way remove the validity of what I'm saying. Moving on.
What it comes down to is you can't trust anything you read. Nobody did their research. Listen to me and send me money for a tithe. So it's going to come down to
literally it's not just listen to me, it's go do your own research, because the people that claim that they did their research, they are actually imposing doctrine of men that they believe and imposing traditions onto the scriptures. You have your entire worldview built upon the doctrine of men, and Yeshua would rebuke you. Don't worry, I got his back, I'll do it for you. I'm rebuking you. You're putting the words in the mouth, words in the mouth of the Creator, words in the mouth of the Messiah. You're telling us that we should throw out what the Messiah says, throw out what the ancient Hebrew says, because of your traditions and doctrine of men and your little stupid ministry schools that were all infiltrated by the 1909 Schofield Interpretive Bible, which they actually hate Yeshua. The people that created that Bible hate Yeshua, and all your stupid little denominations and the doctrine of men that you believe came from that interpretive Bible. And even before that, they started interpreting wrongly via the translations of different languages. So you're self-projecting. I tell people, if you're going to send me money, but you think that you get something out of it, don't send it to me. I don't care. I don't need your money, because Yah is the one that's providing for me. And the more that I let it go, and the more we get close to where we don't have money, the more he shows out. This is about the Father calling me to go out into the world. I sold all my possessions for next to nothing to go do it. You can't even stop eating pork. You can't stop eating bacon, but you're in a position to tell me about being willing to sacrifice for the Creator. When I sold all my possessions to do this, you can't even stop eating bacon, bro. So don't pretend you have some moral high ground here. It's laughable.
Read the Torah for yourself and go to the concordance and go to do this. But the concordance has been changed. And then the King James Bible, you can't trust the King James Bible. And you got to go back and you got to go over here and you go back to ancient Hebrew and you retranslate it yourself. And then there's two versions of Hebrew. Then you got the oral Hebrew and then you got the other transitions.
Yeah, what an idiot. Look how dumb he looks. We're just going to keep putting you on blast. You put this on your own YouTube channel looking that dumb. That's the crazy part. That just shows like how detached from reality you are. So let's listen to what this clown show says, because what we exposed the Talmud, which is the oral teachings that were then written down that they say you have to read before you read the Torah. We know that it's a complete and total work of, let's say, the enemy of the opposition. It isn't the truth. It's in opposition to the Father. None of that's real. They're like psychopathic ethnic supremacists that have imposed all kinds of overbearing rules and regulations onto humans, adding to the Torah. They tell them they have to read the Talmud before that. So we expose the difference between the actual Torah and the Talmud that the men have made up over religious rules. And that's actually what Yeshua was constantly doing. He was rebuking Sadducees and Pharisees for adding to the Torah with their man-made doctrine and laws. That's what we're doing. Now you're conflating our position as if we say you have to account for the Talmud. No, we're saying throw the Talmud completely out. Throw out all the English translations that change things based on doctrine of men. Go look at the actual words, the actual scriptures, pray for discernment, and figure out what was actually said. What was actually said verbatim to his people, so that we can learn. When Moses went as an intercessor, because Israel was like, oh, we fear we're going to die if you keep telling us what's going on, because he came to introduce the covenant to them, the contract to them, because they kept messing up. He's like, okay, here's the contract, and here's the stipulations of the contract. Oh, we fear that we're going to die if you keep talking. Okay, so then they sent Moses on behalf. It was verbatim, not one jot or tittle will ever be changed from that, but they've changed it in different languages. They've changed it with the Talmud interpretation they tell you to read before that. We're exposing all of the doctrines of men. We're exposing all the tricks of men, and you're actually standing up for it, attacking those people that are on the front lines doing it. I would pump the brakes. You should read the scriptures and see what happens whenever you vehemently attack Yah's soldiers. I would probably recommend you chill out, my man.
So it's going to come down to read the Torah for yourself and go to the concordance and go to do this. But the concordance has been changed. And then the King James Bible, you can't trust the King James Bible. And you got to go back and you got to go over here and you go back to ancient Hebrew and you retranslate it yourself. And then there's two versions of Hebrew. Then you got the oral Hebrew and then you got the other transitions. These are people who say that the devil doesn't exist. Pray tell then, what are these things called devils that Jesus and the apostles were casting out of people? They'd say they don't exist. We got to go back to the ancient transitions. The Hebrew, it doesn't talk. 49.
Oh, is that what we would say? No, actually what we say is that there is things called demonic possession. And actually there does appear to be metaphysical entities. And I told you that Jack and I aren't 100% exactly in agreement on the fact that I do think there are metaphysical entities in the sense that they came and they deceived the entire world. And that whenever you have a certain type of sin that you cling on to and you refuse to let it go, that it will come back tenfold or sevenfold, and that it'll get worse. And this dude, whenever the legion was cast out into the swine, he was actually living in a graveyard, doing all kinds of crazy occultic magic rituals and sex rituals in a graveyard. And so, yeah, he was actually messing with a spiritual resonance or something that was possessing him, and it had to be cast out of him. There is spiritual possession. So we've said that very, very candidly. We've pointed that out point blank, that there is, in fact, spiritual possession and demonic possession, but that the idea that the Satan's running around as a bad guy that makes you do everything bad. So if you do something bad, it's not your fault. You don't have any responsibility. It's just the bad guy made you do it. Isn't true. That's not what Satan means. So try again. Every single one of your responses is a straw man, and I'm doing this live, and you did it in an edited video, and you're doing it back to back to back. It's pathetic. You're pathetic, bro.
95 free shipping. Free shipping. Send your tithe.
Excuse me, Christianity does believe in Sunday worship, Christmas, and Easter. If you say that you don't believe those things, then you're not a Christian. You
Really?
guys got to get it out.
Do you like how Fat Man Jack there just decided that Christianity is defined by whether or not you observe December 25th Christmas?
Yeah, this dude's a moron. Let me come back over here. Okay, so just to show that once again he had to straw man and be a complete and total moron, he's saying that modern Christianity, which is a term created by the Romans. Max, take out your crayons, dude, and don't chew on them. Just write this down, okay? So the Romans came up with the term Christianity as a derogatory term for those of the people that thought Yeshua was the Messiah. And in fact, I read all of what the scribes said. I'm assuming you haven't. You just listened to men that did it for you, just like a globe earther. And they said, well, they're just like the Jews, except they think this dude Yeshua was the Messiah, and they follow him around and think that he fulfilled prophecy. We're going to call them the Christians, just so we can tell the difference in the crazy Jews and the crazy Jews that are a little different. We'll call them Christians. They were making fun of them. People that think this guy is Christ, right? Oh, Christians. Okay, now you absorb the term Christian, so we fight back against it because that's not what they call themselves. That's not what Yeshua called themselves. They didn't call themselves Christian. He was anti-religion. The Romans made up the Christian religion, absorbed it into the polytheistic pagan culture so they could deceive people and have control over everyone, absorbing into their current structure. Now, he said that if you don't adhere to Sunday worship, which again was the Romans who created Christianity, and once they created Christianity, they then changed it from the 7th to the 1st day because they had a sun festival where they worshiped the sun god. So they already didn't work and threw festivals and partied on Sunday. So they just switched it from Shabbat over to Sunday so that it would be consistent with their pagan belief system, their sun worship festival. So yeah, if you still adhere to Sunday worship, that's the Catholic Church. That's Christianity. Comes from the Romans. That's what he's saying. If you adhere to the modern pagan holidays, that comes from the Romans. If you don't adhere to those, you're not under the umbrella of the Roman Christian religion. That's clearly what he's saying. Now you had to straw man it because you don't even want to actually be honest about what we're saying. You just hear that we say something about not being Christian and you spiral because you're just like a globe earther. You're acting just like a globe earther. So anyway, moving on.
And Easter. And people are listening to this stuff as spiritual guidance. You've been lied to. You've been grabbed. The books have been grabbled. You've been lied to. You got to go back and you got to trust me. It's Austin Witsit at Cash App, cashapp.com.
No, it's $Witsit gets it on Cash App.
This stuff is infuriating, man.
Yeah, you're telling me about it. I have to listen to this little game of mail, pretend he knows what he's talking about, but can't man up and call me like I gave him my phone number so I didn't have to expose you live, because everyone knows that I bite my tongue. I try to take the high road, but when you specifically say my name and make 8 straight hit pieces on me, you're going to get exposed. You won't come on my live stream. You can come tonight, bro. You want to come tomorrow? You tell me when works for you. I'll bring you on my live stream live so you can try to defend your position, but you won't, because I would intellectually eviscerate you, and it's because I have the truth on my side. And no, I'm not going to slow it down to your remedial comprehension level. You should just learn to not talk about things you don't understand. You're being convicted right now because some of these truths are striking a chord with you, but you're going to go down swinging, grasping on to Christianity and churchianity, and that's your problem, my man. It's just like when I debate and dominate PhD physicists and astrophysics professors, and they can't debate me, but they have their whole reputation on the line because they went and preached about astrophysics to everyone for decades. They'll never admit they're wrong. That's why I say it's oftentimes easier to reach like an atheist or agnostic or a new ager than like a staunch modern churchianity Christian, because they won't swallow their pride. That's the problem that you're having, my man. I don't have any pride. I'll admit next week I was wrong about something last week because I'm still learning. That's how you're supposed to be. And those that humble themselves will be exalted. Those that exalt themselves will be humbled. I'm really hoping you take heed to this because you are playing a dangerous game, my man.
Infuriating. And just the boldness of the lies, right? Like they're reading off a script. There is absolutely no wishy-washiness in the stuff that they're saying, even though it's pure lies. It's the hypocrisy of, I'm going to say this thing here, then I'm going to say this thing here, and then someone asks a question, so then I'll completely reverse my position and say this here.
What a shocker that you actually do not provide any specificity of that ever happening, because it doesn't happen. You just make baseless assertions, again, just like a globe earth. Yeah, you got nothing, huh, Max?
Anyways, we're going to start back at the beginning, where we get to talk about all these fun things about how we're supposed to do the Sabbath and how we're supposed to do do circumcision and all these things.
Yeah, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. No, we'll just throw it out and change it to Sunday because the Romans said so. We don't have to. I want to eat my bacon.
Again, the Sabbath is apparently just napping all day and kicking it.
Yeah, it's a day of rest and fellowship and focusing on the Creator. That's what Sabbath means, bruh. Day of rest.
It's not, but we got to follow the Torah. And all of those stringent laws in the Torah, those were made by men, apparently.
No, that's literally not what we say. Think about how wrong this guy's been wrong about every. I have to keep pausing because he's wrong every time he opens his mouth.
It's not, but we got to follow the Torah. And all of those stringent laws in the Torah, those were made by men, apparently.
They literally weren't. No, we were explaining that the Talmud laws are written by men, the Pharisees and Sadducees, and that they added to the Torah, trying to make the burden heavy on people. And Yeshua was disgusted by this and constantly rebuked them for this very thing. The Torah is the instructions given to us by the Creator. Write down exactly what I say, Moses, verbatim. He originally went to verbally convey it to the people, and they couldn't handle it. It was word for word instructions from the Creator. Then humans added to it to make it much more over the top and overly religious and difficult to adhere to. Okay, so you once again had to strawman the position. That's a telltale sign that you're wrong, Max.
I don't know. We'll get into it, but I thought that was hey, people calling him a heretic. I wonder why.
Because they're like you and they're devoted to churchianity. I just want to respond to this real fast. I don't think anyone has taken this guy serious, Austin. I'm not in any way doing it because this guy, I think people are taking serious or that he's got a big channel or anything. It's the fact that it's this doctrine, this message, this reluctance to accept truth. It's this indoctrination that I feel I've been called to go combat. And actually, I fasted and prayed, and he showed me that modern Christians would all turn on me, and I'd have to call them out for certain things. And I started crying. This guy knows nothing about my walk with the Creator. This guy knows nothing about how devoted I am to it. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's definitely not going to stop me. I'm just exposing the actual doctrine of this guy. And this guy's a flat earther trying to swoop in and then make tons of videos off of my videos and then confuse people when we're already having to learn a ton of information we've been lied to about. I don't have any patience for it. So I'm doing this for multiple reasons. Certainly not because this guy is some like intellectual threat or anything like that.
1,000 people watching this. And if you look at the chat, which I've hidden because I don't, want anyone to go through here and have their stuff on there and people picking on him or something. But all these people that are in the chat are like, oh yeah, amen. Oh yeah, oh great. These people are eating this stuff up. This hidden secret occult knowledge that Tweedledee and Tweedledum or Jesse Pinkman and Leonard Skinner know, right?
The rabbinical Pharisees called Yeshua a heretic as well, didn't they? Isn't that interesting, Zach? Isn't that interesting? This guy literally doesn't realize what he's doing. See, that's why Yah is so amazing, man. Like the spiritual wisdom is so above that of the carnal mind and the pride and the ego. That what is happening is he's effectively, if you want to call it, being fooled into saying all of his own issues out loud and then trying to cast them onto me. That's what he's doing.
This dude's like 25.
29, bro.
How much secret occultic knowledge could he have been aware of when he was washing cars for his job?
Oh, wow. So this guy is such a strong believer that he had to take the shot of what I did for a living. Yeah, I owned a mobile detail business. I started to own the business like 3 years ago or 4 years ago because I made a decision I would never work for someone else again. I'd rather do something like detailing to work for myself and be free. I didn't want to work for another man. And I own a detail business. You can make good money doing that. And yeah, I just like to actually physically work as opposed to just sitting still. That's why this was actually not intuitive for me to do live streams. That must mean that your stupid doctrine of men is true because I detail cars, huh?
This guy, in the last stream that they did, talked about how he tried to go to Bible school for secret knowledge and they kicked him out and failed him. He wouldn't do any of his reports. And now,
how dare you, Jack, not do the churchianity reports that I so boldly believe in? How dare you? This guy is the problem. This guy is the actual enemy.
Here he is. Hebrew roots, Bible's all wrong. You got to go to ancient Hebrew. Not one scripture being brought up.
We literally bring up scriptures constantly. That's what the entire stream is about every time.
And it wouldn't matter anyway. Because if you bring up a counter scripture to these guys, they'll say, well, that's from that version of the Bible that everybody knows isn't correct.
Wrong. How are you wrong so many times, man? We don't do that. We immediately go look at the scriptures and look at the etymology of the word and try to figure it out and piece it together. Just like we're studying the Hebrew version of Matthew, which you probably never will read. You probably don't even want to be honest enough to acknowledge that there's a contradiction in it about the Sadducees or about the Pharisees and how you listen to what they say, but not as they, but okay, listen to what the Pharisees say, but don't do as they do. And right after it says, don't listen to what the Pharisees say, but they changed he to they, when really it says, listen to what Moses says, don't do what the Pharisees do. But you won't ever acknowledge it's a contradiction. You'll do mental gymnastics within the doctrine of men to try to explain it away. Just like the person in the chat that's saying, oh, I think it's a lie to say the Messiah said go back to follow the Torah. Well, it doesn't really matter what you think. It says, do not think I came to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it. So somehow to fulfill it means to abolish and get rid of it, even though he said, do not think I came to abolish it. And how do you show that you love the Father? By following his commands. And he was constantly following the commands and constantly teaching people to do that and telling his disciples to go out and speak the gospel. But he had not died and been resurrected yet. So that's not the gospel. The gospel is the news of the kingdom, how to get there. And it's to submit to the will of the Father and to follow his instructions. Because if you have a true salvation, you'll want to follow them. You don't earn your salvation by the instructions. You want to. That's actual evidence of your salvation.
And I like how they love to say the Torah, use the Torah, the Bible, and all of these things interchangeably unless they're proving a point. And then it's something obscure and very specific.
Obscure and very specific. Those are antonyms, you clown.
Right? We're gonna use the verbal tradition. Torah says this, and we're going to use the Hebrew translation of Matthew instead of the Greek translation or the oral witness translation of Buddha 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 Ba to get out this heresy.
Wow.
I think I'm going to leave it at that for this video.
Cool. No one cares. That's why you have 162 views. Okay, anyway, and actually that went up some since I even premiered that I was going to do this response. I mean, he has like 7 more. I'm not going to watch them. You can go watch them. I certainly encourage everyone to hear all angles of everything, right? And like I always say, don't just trust me. Don't just listen to what I say and then build your entire worldview strictly on that. I want you to go into your room by yourself and pray and seek discernment from the Father. Now, he says the reason that I say this guy's a psycho, bro. He says that the reason I say that, you don't just trust what I say is because that way I've given you a warning that I'm lying to you. So I have no karmic response for that. I've removed the karma because I told you that I'm lying to you. This dude is a psycho, bro. He's literally trying to push the narrative that I'm a CIA operative, controlled opposition, that's some secret Mason that's telling you to your face I'm lying to you so I don't have karma. Bro, I sold all my possessions, bro. You don't know what you're talking about at all. This is laughable. So anyway, we're going to move on. That dude got way more, acknowledgement from me than he really deserves. It's not about him, though. It's about what he's saying. And like I said, dude, you can come on and debate me live about it if you want to, but you won't. You won't. You'll just do little stupid videos, chopping them up, edited, and still having the straw man. You're showing your own ego. That's what someone says. This guy doesn't even realize how much he's showing his own ego or something to that effect. Well, that's what the ego does to you. He doesn't even realize that he is showing his weakness of his own ego. That's what ego does. That's what ego does. People are actually blinded by their ego, so they're oblivious to how transparent it is to everyone else. And it says, not one jot or tittle shall pass until earth and heaven pass away. So is earth and heaven still here? Is the earth still here? Hey, the earth's still here, guys. I just checked. So that means it hasn't passed away. It's not gone. So I get it. You don't want to adhere to the Torah because you like your bacon. You like doing whatever you want to on Saturdays because that's the party day in this society. You like doing whatever you want to do and just remembering John 3:16 and saying, oh, well, I'm good. None of us are perfect, so it's okay that I'll just keep living the way I want to. That means you didn't have a real salvation because you'll start feeling convicted. I immediately started feeling convicted about things, not because I went and read them either, but I felt convicted about them. Although Paul, which these people that love to bring up Paul whenever they try to justify throwing away the law, who consistently says, God forbid that we do that, constantly says, God forbid that we throw away the law. He explains that actually he wouldn't fully understand what sin was without the law. So how do you know what sin is without the law? How do you know what the sin is without the instructions? Oh, you need the instructions? Oh, your stupid little church, right? Your circus in a building, a synagogue, right? They love to say that the Old Testament doesn't matter, the instructions doesn't matter, the law doesn't matter. But when we need your tithing, we're going to go back to the Old Testament so we can get your money. And you're defending them. I was called. I'm telling you, dude, you need to really listen to me, dude. I'm not just saying this, okay? This isn't just Austin telling you this. I prayed and fasted about it, and I'm supposed to rebuke modern Christianity and the doctrines of men where they're misleading people away from salvation. That's what he told me to do. So think about where you are on the spectrum. I sold all my stuff to go do this because I don't play with the Creator. I know He's real. The only thing I'm afraid of is turning my back on the Creator. That's the only thing I'm fearful of is the Creator, is the Father. And He told me to do this. Now think about what you're doing in the spectrum of what's going on here. You're trying to stop me and intimidate me from doing it. You're the very people that I cried about when I was fasting and praying, and He showed me that I was going to, because I was like, okay, I'm a flat earther, I'm vocal about it. Everyone already like ostracizes me. I'm losing friends. Now I believe in the scriptures. Y'all sat me down. He answered my prayer. He started making me feel convicted. I started applying discipline in my convictions. Then He moved me out by myself. I was fasting and praying. And I'm like, I still got the Christians. I still got my brothers and sisters in Christianity, right? Like no matter what happens, they'll be there for me. And it was ripped from me very quickly because Yah showed me, no, you don't have that large new group of people that you think you do. There isn't this large group of people that are going to have your back. They're not. They're not going to. They're going to turn on you. You're going to have to call them out. And I cried. Okay, so if you fasted and prayed, then you'll understand what I'm saying. You get spiritual revelation with tons of clarity when you actually pray and fast and focus on the Creator. And it actually made me cry. You're just, all you are to me is just a fulfillment of what I was shown. I was shown that people like you were going to happen. So the think that you're going to like intimidate me away from speaking the truth unequivocally is laughable. And I encourage you to pump the brakes on, man. You might want to take those videos down. You're playing a dangerous game. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see what the chat's talking about. He removed the veil, told me I had been deceived, learned Hebrew, then repentance came once I had read it. I was called too. Okay, if you read it in Hebrew, then you would know that it says not one jot or tittle will go away until earth and heaven pass away, and they're still here. And you would know that whenever they go up and ask Yeshua about what's the most important commands, they're asking in the context of the Torah, what's the most of the instructions? And then they start listing things from the instructions. And he says, basically, you need to go sell all your possessions because he was clinging on to his materialistic things. You should also know that he literally says, I came not to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it, meaning he lived it perfectly. He fulfilled it perfectly to give us an example of what to do. He constantly rebuked the Sadducees and Pharisees, the over-religious people that added to the law, but the law itself, the instructions, which is not law, it actually translates to instructions, are there for us. If you, out of pride, refuse to ever like change and keep the Sabbath and stop eating pork, just little changes that he knows way more about your body than you do. He made you because you think you know it all and it's easier for you to live in your sin. That's when you're playing a dangerous game, because you're actually knowing that the Creator's real, but choosing to put your will over the Father, which seems to say that it's the unforgivable sin. When you know the will of the Father, you know the Father's real, but you say that you can put your will over that of the Father's. You're playing a dangerous game. You're in more dangerous waters than the atheists. And I don't really care if this makes you uncomfortable. No one cares. Every word's important for learning. Yeah, exactly. So go read the actual Hebrew of the Torah and go read what Yeshua actually said about the Torah. Go read what Paul actually said about the Torah. If you actually want to know the truth, then you're going to find out the truth. If you don't, then just go to your little stupid Sunday worship church and keep believing the doctrine of men, where they read one verse and they say this emotionally filled, nonsensical, doctrine-filled message with like 40 minutes of music and like 10 minutes of them screaming with a certain cadence they were taught in ministry school to get you worked up in your emotions. Now we're going to go back to the Old Testament for just a second, though it doesn't count anymore because we need our tithing. Here comes the play. We need new carpet. I want a new McLaren. Are Muslims keeping the law? And they keep a lot more of the Torah than modern Christianity does, but obviously Islam is way off the mark. I'm not going to keep reading you, Chrissy. Sorry, it is what it is. Either you're going to swallow your pride, and if you can respond to these things specifically, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. What did it mean when Yeshua said, do not think I came to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it? How does to fulfill it mean to abolish it when he said, do not think I came to abolish it? Respond specifically, or I'm not reading any more of your chats. because I don't have time for you. You act like Globers. It's like, well, the necessary antecedent to pressure is containment. The second law of thermodynamics necessitates that entropy will increase, so pressure will fill the available space. How can you have a pressurized system adjacent to a near perfect vacuum? 10 to the negative 17 torr. Pressure gradient. No. That's delta x. We're talking about x, the antecedents. You're bringing up the quantitative. Can you please answer the question? Gradient. That's what you sound like. And so that's what these people do, right? Whenever you are not actually arguing in good faith or being honest, you have to lie and strawman and twist and divert and use red herring fallacies. And that's what people are doing with churchianity, the same thing people do with the globe earth. I don't have time to just go back and forth as you run away from my response. What did it mean when Yeshua said that I do not think I came to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it? Oh, fulfill means he did away with it. No, that's abolish. That's what abolish means. And not one jot or tittle shall pass away till heaven and earth pass away. How does that work? What's up with that? So if you can't respond to these things, you're just not being honest. And you have a lot of pride because I've been researching it for so long. Like, it sounds just like a PhD in physics. Any information is well absorbed and critical thought upon, I'll keep researching. Yeah, dude, just be honest about it. Let me ask a simple question. What must we do to be saved? We've kept the laws from our youth, so what must we do to be saved? You're talking about we've kept the laws from our youths. You're talking about the story where the one person that ever left Yeshua sad was like, what else do I need to do? I've been doing all this since I was young. He's like, sell all your possessions and follow me, because he knew his heart. But they were talking about the instructions. That's crazy because he did away with the instructions. I thought, then why are they talking about how he has to keep the instructions? And he said, I have been. His response was to keep the instructions. What do we do to get saved? You humble yourself and you actually accept salvation through the Messiah, who is the bridgeway, the intercessor to the Father, right? You get salvation from the Father. Yeshua is the mediator, okay? And you accept salvation, and then you change your life. You'll start to get convicted, because if you search it out, you'll find it. And if you truly, sincerely want to follow the Creator, just reveal yourself to me if you're true. You'll start to feel convicted, and then you actually apply discipline to your convictions. You change your life because you know the Father's real. You've had a spiritual experience. You know He's real. You know He's your Father. You want to love Him and make Him happy and make Him proud. You change your life based on what He shows you that you need to change, and it'll be a growth process. I was talking to Chris. I'm like, it's not like He just downloads the entire Torah into your brain and immediately convicts you about everything. It's like He works on you where you're at until you're growing. It isn't complicated. Persevere to the end, stay true to your convictions, and read the Torah for guidance and instructions, and just show Him you love Him by keeping His commands, because that's what the scriptures say. How do you show Him that you love Him? By keeping His commands. So the way that you have salvation is it's by grace, that it's extended to us through the atonement of Yeshua. You can't earn it by your works, but if you truly accept the salvation and know that it's real, then you will have the fruits of that, which will be that you'll be getting back to the instructions. Only humans complicate this. It's not complicated. Yeshua told his disciples, teach the gospel, no death or resurrection happened. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. People won't respond to that either. How is the gospel that he died and was resurrected, but he was telling all of his disciples to teach the gospel while he was still alive and hadn't died yet? It's just bad. Woman, do you not know about my Father's business? How do you get saved? Was it by getting into Torah? Or was it by Yeshua alone? Yeah. It was. I was saved a few years ago, but through the mediator of Yeshua. Yeah, and I actually called him Jesus at the time. And yes, I think I was 100% saved then, but I continued to grow in my convictions. Works doesn't save you. That's all you guys can do is straw man what I'm saying, though. Works don't save you. Works don't save you. Works don't give you salvation. So tell me how somehow I'm saying that works save you. Works don't save you. Works can't save you. I'm a product of grace, okay? I cannot earn my salvation through works. My works are like filthy rags. Works is not what saves you, okay? I was saved with the mediator of Yeshua, who came and died as atonement for me to help be a bridgeway to the Father, who gives salvation. I was saved through the Messiah Yeshua as a mediator to the Father, who gave me salvation. That's how. And I called them the wrong names, and I didn't know about the Torah. And I went back to this doctrine that I had when I was growing up. Well, we're on a new covenant. It's just a New Testament. He threw it out. And I didn't even read that. I never studied that. I just knew that's what I was told. That's what most of you guys are doing. So no, it's not the Torah that saves you. Following the Torah is evidence of your salvation being real. You can play games in front of humans all you want to. I don't think Yeshua is going to care about that. Do you think he's going to care? No, he's going to say, depart from me, for I never knew you, workers of lawlessness. because that's what iniquity actually comes from. It's the word that means lawlessness. Those that don't follow the law, those that don't care about keeping the law, those that spit on the law, those that think that they can change the law, those that think that men's doctrine supersede the Father's commands. What a clown world. You have such arrogance. Not you. I'm really just like more people like this guy that have that amount of arrogance. I think that you as a human, as a man, have the ability to supersede the doctrine of the actual creator, the actual instructions of the creator, because of your doctrine of men is insanely arrogant and detached from reality. It's wild. A stream on Vatican Freemasons creating Islam would be gravy-rific. Yeah, that does sound like a lot of gravy right there. I'll look into it, my man. I'm down to do that. Obedience shows love to the creator and leads you into his will to connect us back to him. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. If you truly love him, then you be obedient. I wouldn't have to fight with you on YouTube for you to do it. You'd want to do it because I lived it. I lived it. That's why you guys don't fool me. Yeah, I'm not just up here talking about it. I lived it. I lived it. I immediately felt convicted about having sex with women that I wasn't married to. Immediately. I thought that was the most petty thing ever. I felt bad about it. As soon as I said the prayer, got the sign that I asked for, I immediately started feeling convicted. I felt convicted about drinking. Right? And then I'm growing and growing. Now I'm like, it was a couple months before I went on tour. I'm like, I felt convicted about eating pork. I would have laughed at you for saying that. And this is before I even fully got into the Torah. He showed me convictions. So I know if you're sincere and you're trying to grow and you're not just doing this out of pride or ego or your carnal mind thinking you know everything so you can go preach to other people and be the special boy, and you sincerely want to know the truth and you want to change accordingly, he'll start convicting you according to his will. And if you truly love him and you know he's real, you want to please him. You shouldn't have to be like convinced to do it. It's actually repulsive. I have to sit here and argue and get worked up and work up a sweat to convince you guys to get to the instructions, when the truth is, if your salvation was pure and real, you'd want to do it. I wouldn't have to argue with you to convince you to do it. And I lived it. So there is no tricking me. There is no convincing me otherwise. I lived it. I know it for a fact. Conviction carves you over time. It's not all at once, at least for me. No, it's not. It's not all at once. It wasn't at once for me. I don't think that we could handle it all at once. There's no condemnation. Okay, your salvation's not real if you don't try to please the Father by following his instructions. It's fruit. Okay, so you will know them by their fruit. And if their fruit is just chopping down on pork and saying, you're stupid, you don't even eat pork, then you don't have the fruits of salvation. It is what it is. I call it like it is. There's no condemnation, so I can do whatever I want to. I can go have sex with 50 different people every single day. It doesn't really matter. I can do whatever I want to. I can go kill people and rape people, but it's all good. I remember John 3:16. No, that means that you're not showing the spirits of the Father. You're like, it's not that you earn your salvation by the law. It's that if you don't get back to the instructions because Yah is leading you there, then that you weren't really saved, because evidence of salvation is adhering to the instructions. Not that you earn your salvation, but you're just going to keep looping the same thing. You're going to keep basically trying to straw man me saying that you earn your salvation by works, when I've literally said point blank, you don't earn your salvation by works. Our works, our righteous works, are like filthy rags to the Creator. We could never earn our salvation by works. But if your salvation's real, then you're going to start to adhere to the instructions, because I know for a fact that he will lead you towards living in his will, which is following his commands. How do you show the Father that you love him? How do you show the Father that you love him? By keeping his commands. Oh, we'll throw that verse out because my preacher said that I can give him tithing and then I'm good to go. And dip me in some water, probably a pedophile, then we're good. Can you address Peter and the sheet holding all the unclean animals that he was told to eat? I've never heard you address that, only referring to the Torah rules. I don't know enough about it to respond to that. It's absolutely amazing. As soon as you start to keep the Torah, friends and family attack you. It's a damn shame and very sad, but very true. Yeah, but actually it makes perfect sense, right? Because the road to destruction is wide and many are on it. And then the path of life is small, but if you find it. And many will say to him on that day, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name? And he will say, depart from me, for I never knew you, you workers of iniquity. And of course it says that in the end will be a huge minority. There won't be many people. Again, the path is small and that leads to life. But if you're on it, well, there's a church on every single corner. Every single corner, there's a church. Every single corner, there's someone talking about what these people in the chat are talking, what this Max Bauer clown show is talking about. Every single corner of the United States has a church talking about that doctrine. So does that sound like a small path with a few people on it? No, that sounds like a wide path, right? Where you can do what you want to. Oh, well, the God's within you. You can do what you want to. Don't worry about it. Just remember John 3:16. just say the sinner's prayer, even though it's nowhere in the scriptures at all. That your salvation is dependent upon the sinner's prayer, even though that's not actually in the scriptures. Don't worry. Don't ask any questions. Just give us some money. And by the way, I've never asked anyone to send me tithe money. Austin, you talked about not having sex for a long time. Have you been able to raise the chrism into the hypothalamus, causing you to have a psychedelic experience? I wouldn't say that I've had like necessarily the only time I have like a psychedelic experience sober is like when I pray and fast and focus on the Creator personally. I do feel that I am able to interpret it. Let's just say call it like for intensive purposes, my intuition, I think is much stronger now that I've stopped like sleeping around. Yeah. I think it literally like spiritually corrodes you. I'm not going to read that. I don't necessarily agree with that. Because Paul straight up says, don't turn away from the law. He just misrepresented. And Peter even explains, many people are going to take the words of Paul and twist them to somehow justify getting rid of the law because they don't understand it. Here we are in 2021. People still don't understand it. A passage I read in the past few days about we will be judged on our works. Yeah, like according to basically like your testimony of your life and what you did, like you'll be held accountable. But it's like your salvation isn't earned by works. I see what you say about Paul, but I don't agree with that. So it's different meanings tripping you up. If so, it's the adversary. Avoid that confusion. See, dude, you just want to preach your doctrine, bro. Just Jack Flat Earth. I've read it. Doesn't say be scared and follow legalism. Sorry, bro. I hope you find peace. Peace. I'm back quiet. Yeah, dude, I hope you find peace and not just the easy way out. The way you find peace is to just humble yourself and submit to the will of the Father. You're not trying to do that. You're just trying to tell everyone how you know that they don't have to do anything. And then you use the word legalism because your handlers, you're the guys with handlers, by the way. It's the Romans. The Romans are your handlers. You use the word legalism to dismiss the validity of the scriptures. Legalism is the Pharisees and Sadducees who actually called Yeshua a heretic because he didn't follow their man-made doctrine, their man-made traditions. You know, like your stupid little 501c, whatever it's called, 5031c. I always say it backwards, where you just go into that room that's tax exempt where no one actually is sincere, and then you have a rock concert and you pass your little metal plate around for money so that he can get a new BMW. You believe the traditions of men over what the instructions say. Legalism, it comes from like the oral teaching of the Talmud. That's what the Babylonian Talmud, where they started adding all kinds of rules to it. So Yeshua had to come and say, look, all that's wrong. This is what the Torah actually says. So why did he have to tell us what the Torah actually said if it didn't really matter? The Torah doesn't matter. He just had to come and make sure that the main thing he talked about the whole time was this is what the Torah really says. Don't listen to what they're saying when they're adding to the Torah. Get back to the Torah. But it doesn't really matter. Yeshua just was incompetent and didn't know what he was doing, apparently, the entire time that he was here. Legalism. No, the Pharisees and the Sadducees are the ones that were legalistic. We're saying, dude, just go pray for yourself and seek discernment. He's going to start to convict you, and the instructions are here to help you. They're not a burden. The fact you look at them and a burden, you're showing your true colors. You're showing your cards. The fact that you look at the instructions as some type of burden that you can't keep, you can't even try to adhere to, shows that your intentions are not pure. If your intentions are pure, you would just go do it. You would want to make the Father happy. You wouldn't want to argue and see how much you can get away with. You're really trying to see how much you can get away with and convince me that you're all for the Creator. I told my girlfriend I want to abstain from sex, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. What a legend. Yeah, like when I talk to females now, I straight up tell them from the jump, like, if we were to date, we're not having sex until we get married. You're just gonna have to accept it. It's really hard to even like talk to females about that now. We're in such a hoard away land. It's insane. I'm trying to help out. There's only one way to the Savior. Read the word, except for the whole entire Torah that you throw out, I guess. If you believe in a creator, then there is a message for you in the word. It's good news. Yeah, it's good news. It's that Yeshua came as a mediator, and I'm a product of grace, and he loves us enough to be merciful, even though we don't deserve it, because we've all sinned, and the wages of sin is death, and that's eternal separation from the creator because he's inherently perfect, and we're blessed with all the mercy that comes from that, all the grace that comes from that, and all we have to do is do our part and like humble ourselves, accept the salvation, and then continue to heed correction, growing in our faith so that we can show the Father that we love him. And if you just want to stop right there and say the sinner's prayer that's not in the scriptures at all, and you just want to remember John 3:16, and you don't ever continue to grow and continue to turn away from your sin and repent and get back to the Torah, because he'll convict you according to the instructions, just like Yeshua himself said. So maybe the word became flesh. So yeah, read the word. Let's go read exactly what the word become flesh said. He said, I did not come to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it. I'm not going to keep saying it, though, to be honest. If she's not in agreement, then I'm going to have to part ways. Dude, you're right. You are going to have to part ways. And dude, mad props to you for being that strong, bro. That's what I'm talking about. This guy's an example of how to be, bro. Because like now, whenever I meet like a female, if I ever talk to them about like the prospect of being with them, they're immediately like turned off that I won't have sex with them when we're dating. It's like a clown world. But dude, stand strong. Yah will actually bless you for that, bro. Like he'll put someone in your life. If she's not the right one, then it won't work. And if she agrees to it, then she may be the right one. If she's not, he'll put someone in there that's right for you. And then in hindsight, you'll be like, oh, wow, this was all for a reason. Look at what I have now. So I would say persevere, because I know y'all's going to bless me with a wife when he feels I'm ready. And, dude, having sex, dude, it has a spiritual residue, man. It corrodes, it could corrode your spirituality, man. It's wild. It's like a little piece of you's gone, and you become desensitized. Hated for truth. Yeah, that's how it goes, bro. Thank you for the kind response. Yeah, of course, bro. Thank you for being about it, not just talking about it. I know Christians that straight up use Tinder. That's crazy. Yeah, of course. Christian. I mean, like when people say, are you a Christian? I don't ever say, no, screw Christianity. And then I don't say that. I just say, well, yeah, I know Yeshua's real. I don't believe in religion or the doctrine of men. You know, like I have a relationship with my father, not a religion. Do you have a religion with your mom and dad, or do you have a relationship with them? Well, he's your father. You're supposed to have a personal relationship, not a religion built upon men. It's like if if like a bunch of men came and told you as a child how you're supposed to behave with your mom and dad, and that's how you did it. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go touch the wall 8 times and turn the doorknob left and right before I enter my parents' room because that's what they told me to do. Or no, you're just gonna have a sincere personal relationship where you're honest with them and you can trust them. If they hate you, they hated him first. Already, bro. Whenever they revile you for his name's sake, rejoice, for they did that to all the prophets before you. Have you read the Apocalypse of Abraham? It definitely teaches flat earth. Dude, the whole scriptures teach flat earth. I'm going to play my song real fast because I got to use the bathroom, but I don't want to end the stream yet. So, in a world...
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting steady high, steady sipping pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick. With a forceful grip, they force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it, if news anchors informant to informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this reporting ships important gifts of.
Of course it is what extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks, ignoring which informant, disinformant, be snoring tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilified those insubordinate way to matrix engineer. Damn, that's unfortunate. Great stream, Austin. The truth is flowing naturally. Yeah, man. Whenever you just are honest, that's all. You don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about someone trying to claim I'm a CIA operative. Dude, what a clown show, dude. The fact that you have the audacity to critique how bold I am, dude. I go out into the world, dude. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. Like, think about how wild that is. Like, I'm not saying like I'm like the best believer ever or anything like that. Far from it. Like, dude, look at some of the people in the scriptures. They were legends, bro. Like, I was in my mid-20s before I finally got my act together. But like, I'm literally willing to sell all of my possessions, and everything that didn't sell, I'm like about to give most of it away. Okay. To go out into the world on pure faith, certainly financially, because I feel led to go out into the world. I'm willing to give up all of my possessions. There are people that can't give up bacon, bro. bacon and pork. They're pork chops. So I'm just going to be bluntly honest here. Like, I don't care at all what you're talking about. I will know you by your fruits. See, luckily for us as believers, we are told we'll know them by their fruits. We don't have to just rely on what you have to say. We get to know you by your fruits. Okay? And so your actions speak louder than words. And I've always been like that. Be about it. Don't talk about it. Right? And so that's honestly how I feel. Like, I can't even like relate to you. Austin, you're humble. I admire that. Well, thank you, man. I think some people would argue that. I'm working on humility always, man. Because I like a lot of times, often people, I feel like they like take humility and they think that they try to make it mean being weak or not assertive or not standing up boldly. Like, no, be confident, stand up boldly, be assertive, but also be humble. And so if that seems contradictory to you, then you have a misunderstanding of what humility is, in my opinion. Don't preach it, be it. Walk the walk. I agree. Although preach it also. Shout it from the rooftops, yeah. Someone said in the chat last night, lukewarms, I am your father. That made me laugh. That's pretty hilarious. Lukewarms. An apple tree shouldn't bring oranges. Yeah, exactly. Austin, have you read the Hindu scriptures? Krishna talks there and says that we have an immortal soul. What does it in your knowledge, the Hebrew scriptures say about it? Yeah, we have our spirit, our soul is not confined to time. But if you don't get right with the Father, basically, you will cease to exist. Yeah, I've read like the Vedic scriptures, and like I looked into every major religion whenever this all started for me. And yeah, I mean, Hinduism has a lot of ancient truths in there, and built upon typically like the Hermetic principles, which seems to be like it's pretty self-evident truths. Everything's vibrations, everything's connected, but it's definitely off the mark. It gives you some wisdom, but it's not. I mean, dude, there's one creator, man. There's not a ton of them, and there's one creator. And if you're worshiping them through different forms of creation, then you're worshiping the creation, not the creator. And yeah, just don't worry about it. You get to keep coming back if you don't get it right. Like, that's a cool story. You know, I'm not going to say that's the truth, and I'm not going to say it's not the truth either, but I don't think that everyone's ready for that. Like, there are certain things I have to hold back on my channel because of the responsibility of knowing that once you get further and further, it seems like things are revealed to you that are pretty deep, but not everyone's ready for that. You know, like, I'm not ready for some things that other people know, I'm sure. Austin, are you coming through Greenville, South Carolina on your future travels? We were just there, bro. We were just there. It's possible. I don't know, man. We have to go back. We have to go back east, but we're probably like more northeast, you know. Maybe on my way back when I come home. If so, I have a 3-bedroom. We can crash and get some grub. That sounds like an awesome invite, man. I can take you up on it when we get back. I'm not going to say no for sure, but are you in the southeast? I'm in Greenville, South Carolina as well. I'm in Tennessee, West Tennessee, because that's where I live, this little town called Parsons, and I had to get all my stuff out of the house to move out, like all the little stuff that didn't sell, and like my clothes. I had to go through the clothes I'm going to keep and then get rid of the other clothes and stuff like that. And then we're heading up like northeast and then busting across west. So I'll have that all mapped out before we leave on Sunday, and then everyone can get an idea of the dates, etc. All right, cool. So there's my conclusion. I'm not gonna watch any more of that guy. You can. There's like 8 of them or something. I mean, he throws all kinds of accusations. I'm just doing this to trick people, get their money. But I told you your face and I'm tricking you, so then I don't have any karma. And I'm a CIA operative. And look at Austin. He gets 1,000 views. How's Austin get 1,000 views? Like, maybe I just like make content that some people like to watch, bro, and I'm like doing it live without anything to hide. That's why people like Owen. That's why I liked Owen. That's why I do my streams the style I do. Is I enjoy when someone's just transparently honest and live, and I'm being super censored, bro. So your argument is stupid. Okay, I'll email you and you can let me know and keep in touch for a visit. Perfect, bro. And people, you guys can email me. I'll have a different phone number that you can email me to, or that you can text me, so it doesn't like flood down my personal phone any more than it already is. All right, so no man can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and man. Agreed, of course. And like the doctrine of men doesn't imagine that you can put the doctrine of men above the creator's actual words. Whoa, bro. I'm just going to let you know he's not happy about it. He's not happy about it. He's not happy. He's not like, it's okay if you fell for it. But you double down, you start attacking other people that are trying to wake people up to that deception. That's not something I don't want to fall under. So you might want to stop attacking his soldiers, bro. Hey, you might want to chill. I'm just telling you, you might want to chill, bro. Take it or leave it. Yeah, we're going to do a meetup again when you come to my place. I'm down. Any more debates coming soon? Tentative debate with Ranty. Don't know for sure. I'm bummed I missed you guys that came through Greenfield. Yeah, dang. I'm sorry, bro. But, if it's meant to be, we'll all link up, man. We have virtual family anyway. You feel me? But, yeah, we're going to continue the tour soon. All right. So I guess I'll just check and see if there's anything on here. I don't think there is, though. Nope, we're good. So I'll do a stream later tonight, too. I'm going to finish making some trips and some loads to the dump and to the storage unit and stuff, get everything out. And then I'll do a stream later tonight. So there you go. Austin's on point. Thanks, bro. The unclean animals in vision in Acts 10 is interpreted by Peter. The vision had nothing to do with food. Sometimes dreams are symbolic, shown all over Scripture. Read about Joseph. Let's look into that. Don't know much about it. When you come into California, when I don't know for sure. I don't think I'm gonna map the dates out that far over, but soon. We're going to be traveling much quicker than we have been. I think is the plan for sure. And so we're going to be going up and then busting back across. So we're going up northeast. So DC, Philly, going up towards maybe where Dave is, Jersey, New York, come across Niagara Falls, Great Lakes, Michigan. Then going to keep going west, maybe ducking up and down based on people, and then get over there to Cali. And I'll keep you guys updated, and we'll do a bunch of things. Look, I'll show you guys. I think I have an idea for a like a theme of content where I go undercover as like a nerd, and I act like I'm trying to debunk these stupid flat earthers. Would you believe that there are people out there that think the earth is flat? And I'm going to have a little iPad and like be real nerdy, like I'm trying to figure it out and just flat smack people, or maybe try and get in different universities. So let me see if I can find my. I'll show you guys my little nerdy outfit here. Yeah. There you go. They will have no idea what's coming. So, yeah, I have a lot of ideas for content that are coming. And then when we start getting like where every single day we're getting tons of content, tons of things going on, different cities, different things, where we're on the move again, I'll try and do like a really dope weekly recap. I think that Chris wants to start a channel, so we might start that where it'll have like some behind the scenes and all kinds of other compilations of what's going on the tour. So I'll keep you updated on that. Yeah, cool stuff. We got a lot of content. So, I mean, that's why I did the stream. Bear with me. I knew that I needed y'all to kind of be patient for a little bit longer, and then you're going to get plenty of content. And of course, don't be surprised when people start to attack the group of people we have here. They're going to try to attack you. But you're actually supposed to rejoice, dude. That just means you're over the mark. So don't worry about it. You cannot look like a nerd. Dude, did you not see my picture, bro? Yeah, look at that, bro. Hey, although I have no idea what's coming, bro. Much love. Peace out. All right. Love you guys. Sing and speak truth unequivocally. If you want to support the tour, yeah, that's right. That is literally how I make a living, as in can even provide for myself or put gas in the RV or buy groceries or do anything. So, like, yeah, you can kick rocks. Anyway, I really hate that I've even like talked about this game this much, so just forget him. Who cares? But anyway, if you want to support the tour, masqueradetour.com, MASKERAID tour.com. You look like a player. Nah, bro, that's my nerd outfit, bro. Get it right, bro. They'll never know it's coming. The second law. What's up, my man? What's up, Eli? Eli's a legend. I think you're already a mod on here. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of Yah perfected. Uh-oh. All right, I'm actually going to get out of here now. So, seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. I hate that some of the legends just got in here, but I got a lot of stuff to do today, and I'm going to do another stream tonight. I just wanted to respond to this little clown show, Gamma Mail. So don't be like this guy. Hey, Max, stop watching all that porn. I can see your browser history from here. And I really don't know if you watch porn, but you're just acting like a Gamma Mail, draining his male life force. But stop eating all that pork, man, and maybe just pray for discernment. At the least, stop attacking his soldiers, because I don't have to do anything. He takes care of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance, and they're always going to attack you for his name's sake. Actually, rejoice whenever that happens. For throughout all of history, the weak-minded people get together and they throw rocks at the strong, independent thinkers. So, whatever. Don't ever let it affect the way that you are, how you seek and speak truth unequivocally. Just stand tall for the truth, no matter what. $ Witsit gets it on Cash App. Witsit at protonmail.com on PayPal. Also, $ Masquerade Tour on Cash App. Love you guys. Peace.
Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sipping pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock and twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it. If news anchors informants who informing them there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we port and ships important. Yes, of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?